I briefly mentioned in my last video that Obama was actually very much in support of border security. He actually deported millions and millions of illegal aliens during that time as well. Well, we have a clip that is resurfaced where he is saying exactly that. So before we jump into this video, quick reminder to like this video and to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this.
We're here at the border because we also recognize that being a nation of laws goes hand in hand with being a nation of immigrants. Today, there are an estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants here in the United States. We have to acknowledge they've broken the rules. They've cut in front of the line. And what is also true is that the presence of so many illegal immigrants makes a mockery of all those who are trying to immigrate legally. We have strengthened border security beyond what many believed was possible. They wanted more agents at the border. Well, we now have more boots on the ground on the southwest border than at any time in our history. The Border Patrol has 20,000 agents. The Border Patrol has 20,000 agents, more than twice as many as there were in 2004. There's a buildup that began under President Bush and that we've continued. And I had a chance to meet some of these outstanding agents and actually saw some of them on horseback who looked pretty tough. So we put the agents here. Then they wanted a fence. Well, the fence is now basically complete. Then we've gone further. We tripled the number of intelligence analysts working at the border. I've deployed unmanned aerial vehicles to patrol the skies from Texas to California. And we're also going beyond the border. Beyond the border, we're going after employers who knowingly exploit people and break the law. And we are deporting those who are here illegally. And that's a tough issue. It's a source of controversy. Even as we recognize that enforcing the law is necessary, we don't relish the pain that it causes the lives of people who are just trying to get by and get caught up in the system. And as long as the current laws are on the books, it's not just hardened felons who are subject to removal, but sometimes families who are just trying to earn a living, or bright, eager students, or decent people with the best of intentions. And sometimes when I talk to immigration advocates, they wish I could just bypass Congress and change the law myself. But that's not how democracy works.
Now, I don't know about you, but Obama sounds a bit conservative there, just a bit conservative in that end. But the thing is that figure of 11 million illegal immigrants existing at this time, by the way, now reports estimation about almost twice that, around 19 million or so that they're estimating that are in the United States currently. So this is something that has been going on for a long period of time. But you heard what he said, that Bush started it, we continued it, that they have strengthen the border, that he worked on trying to do this. So the question becomes, why in the world is it that Democrats now are not willing to acknowledge this clip? I mean, he clearly points out that there's controversy in deporting people, but he says it exactly how it is, that if you are in this country illegally, you are subject to that. And it is the law. That's what he literally falls back on, is to say that the law states this. I can't change it, and I shouldn't be able to change it because that's not the type of country that we live in. So he is being very, very clear on this to the people that were even at the time saying, hey, maybe that's kind of evil to deport these people. Because remember, Obama put kids in cages. Like, he actually did. All of the pictures that they were using at the time, just a few years ago, to try and pin it on Trump were actually taken from the Obama era, and then they tried to use that as a way to demonize Trump. So this is what the left is willing to do. They are willing to literally write off everything because, as you know, Obama can do no wrong these days, right? He is the kind of poster child of the Democrat Party, and in many ways probably the one that leads it kind of behind the scenes. And so they can't say anything against him in any way. So you'll never hear them talk about this. But when he refers to the fence, that's no different than when Trump was talking about the wall. It was just, the wall was supposed to be much taller and bigger and much more fortified. But essentially, that's what Obama was advocating for here, is this barrier at the border to strengthen our border, to hire more border patrol, all of that stuff. ICE was started, I think, in 2003. So this was still all before Obama came in. But regardless, that was who was actually being used. So here's another clip of Obama as well, where he essentially doubles down on the fact of actually needing to deport these people.
We have a system that separates families and punishes innocent young people for their parents' actions by denying them the chance to earn an education or contribute to our economy or serve in our military. These are the laws on the books. Now, I swore an oath to uphold the laws on the books, but that doesn't mean I don't know very well the real pain and heartbreak that deportations cause. I share your concerns, and I understand them. Now, I know some people want me to bypass Congress and change the laws on my own. Believe me, but that's not how our system works. That's not how our democracy functions. That's not how our Constitution is written.
So you can see very clearly that even then, Obama was receiving a lot of pushback from his own people that were saying that he needed to in some way get rid of this law. But he continues to say very clearly that he must go through the law, that he cannot change the law and doesn't want to change the law despite what they had to say about it. So what's kind of crazy about that is if we actually go back to articles that were posted at that time, just looking at the general idea of where they were. So this is actually back in around 2009, 2010. As you can see, you see that this was when Obama was actually very strong on the deportation. So, talking about identifying, 111,000 immigrants with criminal records, that you kind of see that he's cracking down on it with firings and all these things like that. So, this was happening in that time period. And then when we jump about a year or so, we see that he still was essentially involved in the deportations here. And you saw that the news, this is the New York Times specifically, that was starting to push back on what he was doing and write these negative articles about this whole thing as well. So what winds up happening though is you see him start to fold here during this time period as well, where you actually see him saying that he's going to permit young migrants to remain in the U.S. in 2012, and then kind of going on from there, where they're making some deportation policy changes as well after protesting in 2012. So this is all kind of during that same period of time as a result of that, because the people that actually voted for Obama, the Democrats, were starting to turn on him in this way. And then when we kind of focus later here on 2014, 2015, we see that he essentially gave up entirely as well, where they were continuing to push back on him, saying that he was deporting the wrong people. And then we see here where he had deported up to this point about 2 million people. So, and at the time was a record for an American president. Okay. Like, people don't understand this. Like, he deported a ton of people. Like, it wasn't like Bush did a lot too. Like, he did more than anyone else. So to see him fold on this is a big deal, because you don't see liberals acknowledging this. They won't talk about this or say anything about how this exactly happened. But it's no wonder why people have this warped sense of reality about what's happening around ICE and these deportations, because you have people like this guy, this Don Winslow guy, just spreading complete lies, saying ICE is Donald Trump's private army and loyal only to him, and the reason they are so heavily funded and just added 10 million more soldiers to get ready for the midterms. Like, really? Like, do you think that even makes any sense at all? Like, they're not his private army, okay? Like, they have government funding, like they've always had government funding. And the reality is that Trump is just president, and you're mad about it once again, because these people do not understand that they are enforcing the laws of this country. And although I'm no fan of Obama, of course, he's right. Like, the president's oath is to uphold the law of the land. And what you're seeing now is that Democrats, kind of by going against what Trump is saying here, are actively saying, you know what? Screw the law. We don't care about the law. We don't care about following it. Get rid of it. So the next time they get somebody in office, that's the first thing they're going to try to do, is just skirt the law. Just ignore it. And that's what Biden did. He just ignored it. And that's not following the law. You either care about it or you don't care about it. And clearly it's obvious to me the Democrats don't care about the law whatsoever. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below about this whole situation and ordeal. And remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. And I will catch you guys on the next one.